Welcome all, and of course hello to the first video of Pro Learner, where I Armin will be guiding you throughout many concepts and lessons for your CBSE grade 7 syllabus. Hope you all are staying safe at home, and just let's continue. So in this video we are going to be learning about nutrition in plants. So we know how we get nutrition. We get nutrition from carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. But is that the same for plants as well? Well, let's find out. Before I begin, I want to tell you two important definitions. One, autotroph, and two, heterotroph. So now let's see what this means in the dictionary. Looking in the dictionary, autotrophic means mode of nutrition in which organisms prepare their own food. Simply, this means autotrophic plants are those plants which can prepare their own food, commonly known as green plants. Yes, we've studied about a little bit about green plants in our previous years. Now we're going deeper inside of that. We're learning new definitions, new meanings. In sixth, we have come across the word photosynthesis. What exactly is photosynthesis and why is it important for the plant? Well, let's just break up the word. Photosynthesis. Photos meaning light and synthesis meaning to make. In this case, food for the plants. So photosynthesis means light to make food for the plant. But what is so special that green plants have which other plants don't? Well, green plants are green due to the presence of a pigment called chlorophyll. And this chlorophyll here helps to absorb the sun's energy, the light energy. Finally, the energy is utilized and the plant converts the carbon dioxide and water along with many minerals taken from the environment, and it creates its food. But what is its food? The output or the food or the energy which the plant gets is glucose. Now you may be wondering, what is glucose? Well, the glucose produced is either stored in the form of starch or broken down by the process of respiration to release energy. Therefore, the plants by glucose get the energy, and that is their food. But the output is always not what you desire. Like, let's say you make something, you want it to be excellent. Let's say a cake or a pastry. You want it to be really good, but it doesn't turn out good, or something you desired didn't happen. So it's just like for the plant. There is also a byproduct which comes along with their food, which is none other than oxygen, O2. So now I'll be showing the formula for photosynthesis once again. Carbon dioxide plus water with the presence of chlorophyll, which absorbs the sun's light and thus creates glucose along with its byproduct, oxygen. So now we know a lot about photosynthesis, right? But now I also said that plants absorb nutrients and minerals from the soil along with the water. So what types of minerals? Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Now, why them? Well, let me tell you a fact. Nitrogen can be converted into a nitric acid, such as nitrite and nitrate. Once they are converted into that, the nitric acids can be converted into amoeba. And amoeba is a fertilizer for the plant. Understood? Therefore, nitrogen is necessary for the good growth and development of the plant. So here is a small diagram of the process of photosynthesis. Alright, now moving on, we've done many tests in our previous years, such as carbohydrate test, protein test, fat test, right? But can we do a starch test? Of course, we know what to do in a starch test, because carbohydrate, we know that we use iodine for carbohydrates to test if that food item has carbohydrate, and we know that starch is only a complex carbohydrate. Therefore, we will also use iodine solution to test starch. Alright. But then there's a problem. If we want to test starch for a leaf contain what I told you before, small pigments called chlorophyll. We must delete them. But how? How will we erase them from the leaves? As if it was a paper. Well, this is a small diagram of it. We will take the leaf, keep it in a beaker. In that same beaker, keep ethyl alcohol. Now keep that beaker in another beaker containing boiling water. After some time, take the leaf out and let it cool. You will notice that the green stuff is all gone because there is no chlorophyll present. Now you can simply add the iodine solution and it will turn blue-black where the starch is present. Alright. Now I just want to take 5 seconds to recap, for you all to recap all what we have learned. Alright. So now moving on, in the beginning of the video, I told you that there were two important definitions. I said one was autotroph and the other was heterotroph. But what does heterotroph mean? Looking into the dictionary, heterotrophic is the mode of nutrition in which organisms derive their food from other organisms, meaning they depend on other organisms for food. So in simpler words, heterotrophic plants are those plants which depend on other organisms for food. So they are unable to create their own food or make their own food like green plants or autotrophic plants. So these heterotrophic plants can be classified into 4 different groups: parasites, saprophytes, insectivorous plants, and symbiotic. So what are parasites? Coming to the first one, which is parasites. So parasites live on or inside another living organism. That other living organism is called the host. And these parasites obtain the food from the hosts. But the problem is the host does not benefit from the parasite in any way. The umberbell is a common parasite. But why can't they perform photosynthesis? What do they lack? What do they not have? Well, they do not have, or no chlorophyll is present inside of their leaves. Therefore, they are unable to absorb the sun's light, which is necessary for the process of photosynthesis, as I mentioned earlier. So how does it obtain the food, or like how does it get the nutrients from the host? Well, it attaches itself to the stem of other plants, which is called the host, through hook like structures, and derives nutrition from them. Alright, so now moving on to the second group, saprophytes. What are saprophytes? Just like parasites, saprophytes also lack chlorophyll, but they do not depend on any host. They depend on fungi for nutrition. And there's another problem to this as well. Now, moving out of the topic, we all know that we as humans digest our food. All animals, everything digests what they eat. And to do that, many digestive enzymes and juices are present in our body, which help digest whatever we have eaten. Now, these saprophytes eat decaying organic matter. So they are like decomposers and scavengers only in the plants or the flora section, not the fauna. So, but the problem is they cannot secrete digestive enzymes to digest that decaying organic matter. Therefore, they depend on their fungal symbiotic partner to do so. So, what is an example of a saprophyte? Well, it is none other than the Indian tube plant. Now, moving on to the most simple group, insectivorous plants. Just looking at the word insectivorous, insect is there, no? So it must mean that insectivorous plants feed on insects. But why? Now let me tell you. Before I mentioned that plants require nitrogen, as nitrogen creates a fertilizer for the plant. Yes, but the problem about pitcher plant or Venus flytrap, who are examples of insectivorous plants, is that they grow in nitrogen deficient soil. So the problem about this is, yes, they have chlorophyll, they can perform photosynthesis, but they will not grow as well because they lack nitrogen. Therefore, due to many adaptations and evolutions taking place, they feed on insects, and these insects provide them nutrients such as nitrogen. So such plants are called insectivorous plants. Now moving on to the final group, a lichen. So what is a lichen? A lichen is the result of mutually beneficial relationship between fungi and algae. What does that mean? So both fungi and algae compromise makes a lichen. So both algae and fungi should be doing some work. Well, the algae that contains chlorophyll. Have we ever seen algae? Yes, it is green. That means they have small pigments. They have small pigments which are the chlorophyll. Therefore, algae contain chlorophyll, and they can provide the food to fungi, and the fungi helps by making a home for it.